Could you close that?
Yes, I got it.
You work on Lula.
Okay.
Okay.
Ah.
Hey, we supposed to have. What happened to
the intro?
Hey.
We needed that intro. Oh. Yeah. Take us back a little bit. So.
How many of us have them?
Let them sing the song.
Ones you can depend on, friends.
So Houdini was a little prophetic back in the day, and they didn't even know it.
I think it's an ongoing topic.
Before we go any further,
let's be friends.
So it's important to be friends before you move further.
Right. But friendship, just in and of itself, is important.
All by itself.
All by itself.
Is that what we're talking about?
That's what we're talking about.
That's
today.
what the song was all about. Was the intro friends, friendship.
Yes. So Nas has something that hi everybody, happy Wednesday.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yes.
We appreciate you taking time out of your life and your schedule to join in on the conversation about friendship.
Yes, that's right. So Nas had something she was polling on earlier today. So talk to us, Nas.
So you went live and you were saying how you appreciate your friends and what you value in a friendship. So we took to social media and we asked the staff as well what top 3 things they value in their friendship. So we're asking you, what are the top 3 things you value in a friendship?
You want me to go first?
You go first.
All right. So I think intimacy is important to every human being. But a lot of times when we think about intimacy, we think about male, female, right? Or maybe even something sexual. But I think at its core, intimacy is about friendship. And so I think...
You're trying to be deep.
Well, on all levels, right? And you can have that with anyone if the two people can kind of be on the same page. So let's talk about, for me,
what top 3 things
that I value. I would say, number 1, friends going to sharpen me. And so, and I wrote this down because I knew that some of these questions would come. So a true friend is going to make you better. And so you always try to ask yourself at the end of that, am I better as a result of this person coming into my life, or am I worse? And so I think a true friend is going to sharpen you. The next thing I would say, a true friend is going to stick with you through thick and thin. And so when I think about that, I think about the analogy of a ship, right? And so sometimes friends are, when the ship is sailing smoothly, everybody wants to stay on. As soon as the waters get a little rough, you figure out who your real friends. They jump off. They jump ship and they get off. So number 1, a friend's going to sharpen you. A friend's going to stick with you through thick and thin. And then the last one for me is a true friend is going to stab you. And what I mean by that is, and I need to share some context. Proverbs 27:6 says,
I didn't answer my part of the question. She just asked, what's important to you?
So this is the third one.
Okay.
You want that one?
No, I mean, it's just that it was supposed to be what... Not.
I value that, though.
Okay.
All right. So
go ahead, talk about it.
So faithful are the wounds of a friend. That's Proverbs 27:6. So I think a good friend is going to tell you what you need to hear, regardless of whether you want to hear it or not.
Okay.
And the end result of that is it helps you get better, and you respect that friend more because they told you the truth and not just tried to make you feel good. So sometimes I need to be told I was wrong, and a true friend will tell you.
Okay, so for me, the top 3 things that's important to me in friendship is honesty, even when it hurts.
Yeah.
So sort of like your number 3, loyalty. You just gotta be loyal.
That's such a broad term. How do you define loyalty?
Whether we're together or not, we're not talking about each other.
That's good.
We're not betraying each other
the same in your presence and outside.
Exactly. And then I would have to say the third thing would be compatibility. I just have personality quirks. We all have personality quirks.
Right.
And so we have to match, I just think that we have to be compatible. And in all 3 of those situations or all 3 of those characteristics, there has to be this thing called reciprocity. So, me being what I want in that friend, but that other friend being what I need in them. I have a cluster of friends, and I thank God for them. And the attraction of friendship, the first thing is going to be compatibility. You don't know how loyal or honest they're going to be until after you get to know them for a while. But there has to be compatibility to make you stick to it, right? You don't want to hang around nobody that just get on your nerves all day long.
I love that when you talk about loyalty, because, right, to me, loyalty is like covenant. It has to cut both ways.
Right.
And I know for me to be close to someone, I find myself knowing who I am, but I need to know who you are in this. And really, the only way you really know is when the two of you go through something. Once conflict is introduced,
yes,
then you kind of understand what level of friendship that was. And so I want to believe on the loyalty piece that a true friend will go as far with me as I am willing to go with them.
Yeah.
And that's important. That's the loyalty piece. I know you're going to ride with me through good, bad, up, down. And so that's important.
I'm going to be riding with you.
Yeah, that's important.
I'm going to be riding with you. So tell me how, it's just a lot of you all, I don't have the feed going on in front of me. And Nas, I'm sure she'll share with me. But, what are your top three characteristics in a friendship, and what's important to you? Yeah. I remember back when I was college, it's a long, long time ago, and it hurt me. I mean, it hurt me. There was a cluster of us that were friends. Actually, it was 4 of us that was friends. And it was during this season, we were just talking about during this season, right after the NCAA championship basketball game. Actually, it was, now that we know, it was 20 years ago, right? And the team had just came back. They lost, and there was a tragic loss. Actually, it was the Fab Five that had just lost, and in that famous timeout situation. Love you, Chris. We were going to a party, and here I am trying to protect one of my friends. And in the meantime, because the police was trying to break up the crowd that was trying to get into this party, I was groped, and it ended up being a confrontation and everything else. Long story short, when I needed, because she was the one who saw everything. And so when I needed her to be a witness, because I was arrested, I was put in jail, y'all. Locked up in Ann Arbor's jail cell for about 30 hours.
That helps me understand you a little better.
Yeah, I said, hush. You knew that. You knew that.
I know what happened.
You knew that. And so I needed a witness to beat this case. And she was the main eyewitness, eye and ear witness. And she would not be a witness for me. And, and her family got involved because the family was going through one of the family members was going through an election for a political office in another city. And I mean, that thing just hurt me. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I don't have a lot of friends. Those who are down with me now are down with me now. And other than that, that's what it is. Now, I've learned from that, and I've grown from that. But I also learned that there's been times where I hadn't been the best of friends to other people as well. Right. So you tell me, how would you, babe, define friendship, just in the general context of friends, males, females, not spouse, not people that's headed towards marriage, just friendship, period.
Yeah, so for me, I think we always talk about what we want someone else to do, right? Right. But we don't consider who are we in the friendship. So I think, or wanting in the friendship. And so I think it's so important to define for yourself what you believe a good friend is, and then try to be that. And I think God is faithful, and He'll put in your life what you are, because we have this tendency to attract what we are. So I think friendships are built over time. Okay. And so things that I value is acceptance. I want people to accept me for who I am. Don't try to change me. Help me get better, but accept me while I'm in my process. Right. I think we all like acknowledgement. Recognize if I've been something in the friendship. It's okay to recognize that and acknowledge that. Sometimes it's so hard to pay each other compliments, especially male on male. So just recognize, if you value this friendship, recognize that, acknowledge that. That's important to me. Believe it or not, as a male, being appreciated is huge to me. And so if I've been a good friend, how do you demonstrate appreciation for that? How
Well,
do you
that-
show me you value that and you appreciate that?
That's good coming from a
That's important.
guy.
That's huge to me.
That's good.
Because
That's
if I
important.
don't feel appreciated, I probably won't continue to do whatever I've been doing.
So would you say that's a common characteristic necessary in male friendships? Now it comes up in female friendships all the time, but
Male, or I mean, that's important in this relationship.
I mean it is, but just you don't hear that males talking about I need my boys to appreciate me.
That's huge to me.
Mm,
And
that's good.
and then affirmation, right? Everybody wants to be affirmed. And so it would be big to know that publicly you affirm this friendship. And that's my man over there. That's my boy. That's my, and it's clear to everybody who we are. And it's not some secret something between the two of us. So public affirmation is huge. And then my last one would just be assurance. That, and what I mean by assurance, I'm a human being, so I'm going to make mistakes. But in this particular relationship, you have this ability or friendship to understand why or what I'm going through, maybe how I made that mistake, and get in there with me instead of just trying to correct it and maybe joining the other side and talking about me.
Right.
But really get in there and try to understand maybe why I responded the way I did.
Some loyalty.
So some real assurance that when I do right, it's good, but when I don't, we're still good and we can work through that, talk through that, and you can at least try to understand maybe why I made that mistake or responded the way I did. So all of those things are what I value. So I try to be that and grow in that. I'm not there in any of those areas, but I strive to grow in those areas because I have this belief that I will attract what I am.
So, and that's true. Some people call it karma. Some people call it what comes around goes around. Some people call it seed time and harvest. Some people call it yin and yang. But basically, what you sow is what you reap, right? What you put out is what you end up getting back. So I guess the laws of attraction would be if you raggedy, you might attract raggedy. If you got it going on, you might attract got it going on. That's good, and it's interesting to me because I noticed that especially among females, uh, I'm assertive, and I'm pretty. Well, you looking at me like you are.
But I love that about you. I personally wouldn't want you to be any other way because it's clear. I know where you're at in the situation.
Yeah, so I'm pretty assertive. I don't mind conflict. In fact, I think conflict is necessary in healthy relationships. And so with my friends, and I have quite a few old friends that's been in my life for a long time and that know me like inside out, the good, bad, and ugly. But then I have some newer friends in my life. And I have to say we've had we're all assertive.
It takes time.
Yeah, I mean we've gotten to know each other, but all of us, those are character traits.
Right.
And I guess I've attracted people who don't mind speaking what's on their mind at their pace, and don't mind conflict, and are problem solvers, and tend to be high achievers or whatever. So I can see that. One of the things that has come up in some conversations that I've had about friendships is the evolution of friendships. Talking about people who've been friends for a long time and how we all go through changes and how those changes could grow us closer together or could grow us further apart. And you've had so many different clusters of friends in your life.
So I have friends for the different seasons of my
life. I know,
life.
And it's clear.
I have friends from childhood. I have friends from athletic life, and then I have friends, of course, as a Christian. And
you got friends from childhood. You got friends from the hood.
I'm still
you got friends. I mean, it's just crazy in your world. So, how do you handle the evolution of friendships?
That's a really good question. You might have heard me say earlier, friendships are built over time. which means they have to go through things and do what I call, they have to stand the test of time. And so I want to read something here. I thought this conversation might go in this direction. I think everyone has to understand at some point, even your closest friend is going to do something to betray you. They're going to do something to cross you, something you don't like. Just like in a marriage, there's going to be times when it didn't go right. And so something I read today, I shared it with you earlier. Psalms 55:20 says, I was betrayed by my friend, though I lived in peace with him. And so I think the key is to longevity, and when friendships go through their challenges, is don't let it change who you are.
Right.
So let that person be who they are. But if you're a true friend, you're gonna work with them through that. But at the same time, don't let it change you. So many people are so willing to say, okay, I'm done. I'm never getting ready to let anybody else. And you miss out on a lot of, as you just mentioned, great new friends that God wants to send into your life. So I think it's just important to, again, define who you are, stay true to that, regardless of what other people do or they don't do. And when they don't do things the right way, be willing to work with them through that. Don't just cut that off if it means something to you. Now, there's something you need to cut off. But if it means something to you, work with that. Work with them through.
Okay, I'm about to get in your business a little bit.
Go ahead.
Don't be mad at me when I get home. So
Okay.
let's just say there's a friendship.
You can,
No, I know. I mean, I'm thinking of a friendship that you had right now,
Right.
and that, and so things happened.
Yeah.
And you know, and and both of you sort of grew in different directions.
Right.
And as your wife, I've seen you take the position of, you know, let them. That basically, you took the position of, okay, we crossed to a crossroads, and that's what it is, and
Right.
I'm never going to be harsh or disgruntled with them. It's always going to be my man.
Right. Exactly.
But I'm gonna keep it moving.
Right.
So I mean, so that's what I'm talking about. You know,
Right.
it's always good to say, "Oh, we're gonna work with our friends," but there's just some friends that you just can't work with.
Right.
That's just the
Right.
And in this case, even in this situation, both of you are Christian,
Right.
and so I'm about to laugh thinking about the conversation we had. But so how do you handle that evolution?
Yeah. So I think you have organic.
Just let it do what it does.
Because it takes both sides to work at it together in order for it to grow and be better than what it was, or to make it through whatever it went through and come out better on the other side. Both have to work at that. And that's the organic piece. If it's really some substance there, then they both will put that work in. If not, then it kind of, it drifts and it kind of goes in whatever direction. I think that the key though is it still shouldn't change who you are or your willingness to pursue healthy friendships going forward.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, yeah, that's good, because see, all too often, especially when we become Christians, I don't know, you know, it happened to me, and it's probably happened to a lot of you all, where as Christians, you're just all of a sudden just think that you're supposed to be pliable and liked by everybody. And the reality is that you're not. It's never going to happen. Jesus wasn't liked and accepted by everybody.
Right.
So people will criticize you because, oh, I thought you're supposed to be a Christian. Now all of a sudden, you know, we both Christians. Now all of a sudden, you brand new and all this here stuff. And that might, you know, that just might be the case. You two grew in different directions, and that might be okay and cool with one of you, and it might not be okay and cool with the other person. And so I think that what you just said is true. Sometimes it just has to be organic, but sometimes, like, you know, in my situation, when we first got married, I had to have a hard conversation, just be like, you know what, this is not going to work. We cannot function as friends. This is going to be toxic, not only between you and I, but it's going to be toxic in my marriage. So I just think that we're just cool. Love you, and I pray all of God's best for you. But I think we just need to go on and live our life.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I would like to add too. As I've grown and matured, I think in every friendship that didn't turn out the way I thought or maybe wanted it to, I can see myself in it also. So what I always try to do is say, what could I have done differently to maybe salvage that situation. Now, believe it or not, just the willingness to work on me, even if I don't recover that one, it makes me better for the next one. And so
Right.
I've literally been able to look and see things I could have did differently, said differently. I could have handled that differently. I could have responded differently. And so I try to always say, if we're not what we were, both of us are a part of why we're not what we were. So I don't want to put it all on the other person. I want to look inside and say, God, show me how I could have been different in this situation. And I may even make attempts to correct it and fix it. But that's that other piece where that other person has to be willing to do that. Even if they're not willing, I still grew through that and made myself better for the next opportunity and situation God presented me.
Right, and that's where that reciprocity comes in.
Yeah.
So I know we got some questions that came in
Yes,
because
we don't want
Nas
to
is
do all
over
the
there
talking.
hollering. She's laughing, and her and Xavier are just laughing and exchanging some screen time. So give me some questions so we can, before I go on to my next topic or my next discussion point.
Well, Crystal just wants you guys to pray for her because she says she keep attracting crazy folks. She says she knows that prayer is powerful. So
We bind that crazy spirit of crazy folks
In
coming
Jesus'
into
name.
your life. And we loose this, we're binding and loosing.
I
right
mean,
now.
I in this day and age, so many people confuse popularity and opportunistic situations with friendship. So if you're attracting a lot of crazy, well, that's one thing, but that doesn't mean they need to make it to the level of friendship, make it to that friend zone.
Right.
So, in Jesus' name, we bind the spirit of crazy. But and I don't want to put you on blast, baby, but maybe you have to check your level of crazy as well.
Yeah. And I would add to it, confessions, right? As a person thinks, so is he or she. So maybe change your confession, think differently, and start saying that you attract good people, you attract the right people, and just keep saying that. And you might not notice as many crazy people. You'll notice the good people because that's what you've been confessing and looking for.
Yeah, exactly. What else you got for me, Nas?
So, one person asked, how can they be transparent and open in their new friendship when they have been hurt so bad in their past friendships?
I mean, we've kind of been talking about that, right?
Yeah.
So the level of transparency should speak to the level of the friendship. So don't share too much. Share where the friendship is at.
Right.
And then as they prove over time, remember friendships are built over time. And as they prove over time, you open up more. But you're in control about how much you share with other people or not. So you determine that based off of where that relationship is at. But never be afraid to grow and develop in your relationship.
And all too often it's very easy, especially when we've been hurt. Like in the example that I gave earlier about the friend, I'm trying to protect her in the situation. So she's right in front of me, and I end up, getting into an altercation with the police officer and getting arrested. And her refusal to be a witness, it hurt me. Now, no matter how you, dissect the story, in my mind, she was just all wrong. Now this is 20 years later, and I see where I could have done some things differently, but I'm not sure how differently me doing anything would have changed the outcome of that friendship. I've seen her since, and we were cool. Hey, had some conversation and everything else. But all too often, we can be hurt from previous friendships and not really evaluate that situation and have grown from it so that we're more mature from it instead of being still victimized from it. So I would encourage you to assess those previous friendships. There's been friendships that I've seen where, especially with females, where the girlfriend sort of stole, if that's the right word, somebody's husband, or slept with somebody's husband. I've seen situations where, and this is amongst Christians, I've seen situations where one friend betrayed the other friend as far as a job opportunity and a business opportunity is concerned. And it really hurt the other person. But I've also seen some of them work it out over time. And I've also seen some of them just end it. So however you were hurt, moving forward, just like what my husband said, I agree totally. You can't go being transparent and open right up front. People
Right.
feel like you a basket case. You gotta allow the friendship to develop organically so that you'll know, okay, and be able to trust just the Holy Spirit inside of you. I'm not trying to make it deep, but in your gut, in your shana now, when something is right or wrong, and let it develop from there.
And the only thing I would add to that is, if it's a true friendship, it's going to cost you something.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All true friendships are costly, and you have to be willing to make the investment in what a true friendship costs. And so at the end of the day, investments mature over time. And if you stay in them long enough, you get the greater yield the longer you stay in them. A lot of times we want these microwave friendships, and it's just impossible.
Yeah, it don't happen like that.
It just doesn't happen like that. And so the best thing I can tell you is finding a true friend is first being a good friend, as we talked about earlier.
That's right.
And so your greatest investment is in yourself and your personal growth and development. And then you're willing to invest that in other people. And then over the course of time, that investment will yield tremendous dividends. If we're willing to pay the price, stick with it long enough, it'll be great in the end. Our best friendships are 25 and 30-year friendships.
Yeah.
The best friendships we have in our life are that long. All these new 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years nothing has been paid. No investments have been made.
I mean,
and so it's not that they're still not healthy.
Yeah,
it's just they're not like the 30-year-olds.
Right. The 30, yeah, we've had some fights. So yeah, we've had to
We've
get
gone
through
through all kind of
going
stuff.
through a lot of stuff. So yeah, I was about to put my elbow up. Let me listen. Yeah, sister girl. But anyway, go ahead,
Nas.
So, someone wants you to discuss.
Someone. Who is someone? I want to know their name and their handle on social media.
Hallie Josie.
I do.
No, don't
do that. That was a joke.
I wasn't looking so you can see that you were joking. They just want you to discuss godly friendships and what that is.
Godly
So
friendships.
that's kind of what
That's all we've been talking about is godly friendships.
Yeah, so think about it this way: not being unequally yoked together with unbelievers. So when you talk about godly friendships, think about people that are like-minded, right? How can two walk except they agree? So we'll make sure that we're on the same page, we have the same values, same belief system, and we're heading in the same direction. You don't want people pulling you back and distracting you and taking you in directions that you don't want to go. So the biggest thing is like-mindedness, and we're heading in the same direction, and we're yoked, right? We're together in terms of that belief and value system.
So now that she said the name, it's one of my kids, one of our babies. So I'm going to be a little bit more direct. When you talk about a younger generation of people, when we were a little younger, like college age, like Hallie is, and like Haley is, and anyone in their early 20s, before 30, you're going to seem like you have a lot of friends. And so over the course of time, growth and maturity and the evolution of life, you get married, have kids and all that stuff, you will find those friends start dropping off, or the dynamics of the friendship changes. Listen, the reality is that you do good in life to have 3 to 5 close friends. And you do good in life to have 1 to 2 dependable, highly dependable and trustworthy friends. So don't think just because you had a crew. I had a crew of 6 when I had in college. I had a crew of 6. Posse up. That's what it was back then. Then I go home. I had a crew of 4 females. Then I had a crew of 8 guys. And so where are they now? Of course, the ones that was at home, a lot of them have gone on to have passed away or in jail because they that was a neighborhood. But the ones in college and the ones afterwards, we've changed. And so like I was just mentioning earlier, I've since developed new friendships because I'm at a different place in life. But even that takes time and energy. So I'm just that person. I'm not looking for a new friend. Like, for real. Can I be real with you? I love everybody, but not everyone falls in the friendship category. If it happens for me, it has to happen organically.
So the older you get, what you'll find is the slower you'll get.
Mm-hmm.
When you're young, yeah,
What's up? You my girl. What's up?
when you get older, you slow down and you just watch and you give stuff time and you pay attention. And so you're on your journey. And so just stay on your journey, be true to you and God. The rest of it will take care of itself.
Yep. Godly friendships look like what I know is in you as far as honesty, and the things we already talked about.
And just a quick nugget on the relationship side. 3.5-year friendship with no sex, none of that, before we got married. So I personally think even in dating, you should marry your best friend.
Yes.
And believe it or not, 24 years this year, this is still my best friend.
Yes.
And if all we had was friendship, take everything else away, I can still live and be with this person for the rest of my life because this is my friend, my best friend. It helps the marriage so much when the two of you are friends first. Next question, Nas. Talk to us.
So this is from Phil, who we were telling you about earlier on Instagram.
I Phil from, you said all the way in Texas?
Yes. That's in Texas. Okay.
Hey, Phil from Texas.
What's up, Phil?
He was saying that in a friendship you can cheat. What are your views on that? Look at your
Hold on. I'm not in context because I don't want to.
Can you cheat in a friendship?
This is a guy asking this question. So.
Well, no, he was earlier saying, yes, you can. Because we asked the question earlier, can you cheat in a friendship? And he said, absolutely.
Yes. Talk about it. Talk about the guys cheating. We just talked about it earlier. Guys cheating in friendships. When a guy starts dating his boy's ex-girlfriend. Or ex-wife.
Is that the way that question is?
No, he's just saying in general, how can you cheat
Let
in
me
a friendship?
just give the principle of it. So again, if we're going back to a true friendship, right? And you did something that's disloyal in that friendship.
That's cheating.
That's cheating. So most likely for me, you defined for me what level of friendship we had. And I'm not addressing that, checking that, none of that. I just would move on in a different direction. I would never say anything about you and your choices and what you're doing. I would just continue to live my best life and continue to develop and grow.
My husband's like, deuces, dude.
Yeah, but that, again, your actions. I don't listen to a lot of what people say. I watch what they do.
Yeah.
And so their actions would define for me where we're at. Right. If I'm understanding that question correctly, and I would accept that. So when people show you who they are, believe them.
Exactly.
Regardless of what they tell you. Now, they show you, believe them.
I will say this. Now, this is not the most mature way to function in friendships, but there are friendships that you cheat when you and your friends agree that somebody else is an enemy, and then among the friend group, somebody goes and sort of befriends or looks out or does something on behalf of that individual. It's not the most mature way to look at it, but I've seen that happen. So because now all of a sudden, so Nas and I are friends, and Nas and I have a problem with, say, Nancy over here, and then I see Nas going hanging out with Nancy during lunch, and now I'm upset. I can't be that person that says just because me and Nancy aren't friends, that Nas and Nancy can't be friends. That's not mature at all. And a lot of people function that way. Now, there might be some undercurrents there that might make that necessary, i.e., this is my sister, and my sister's husband cheated on her and caused her all this here stuff. Yeah, I might not be as cool with my ex-brother-in-law,
Yeah, but I think the A portion of what you're describing warrants discussion. What I mean by that is, so many people today choose to have a relationship with someone else based off of what someone else told them about them.
Talk about
and
it.
They never had that experience with that individual themselves.
Say that. Say that again.
Today, the way a lot of this world operates is people choose to have a relationship with another person based off of what someone else told them about that person, even though they never had that experience with that person themselves.
Mhm.
And this person takes on that person's heart, their feelings, everything towards this person, and they've never had an exchange, never had that. And so what I would say to that is, again, of course, that's extremely immature.
Yes.
So the mature response is to always have a relationship with people for yourself,
Based on who they are.
based off of who they are and what they demonstrate and what they show you, not based off of what someone else tells you. And people click up, and then this whole clique has this whole
Issue with
somebody, and only one person
know the person.
and that whole group had that issue. But now the whole group, people leave churches over that. It's all kind of stuff.
It happens amongst Christian folks.
Yeah.
It happens amongst everybody. But it's amazing to me how often it happens.
So what I'm saying to the person who sees that, right, and witnesses that, that should tell you everything you need to know about the one that you consider a friend and the one that's making choices about you based off of what the one that you consider a friend told them.
Right.
And that for me is when I had to remove myself from that, because I can't waste time trying to have something with someone who's already made a decision about me based off of what someone else has told them. They're not going to take the time to get to know me for themselves. I can't invest in that if that's how you're approaching the friendship on the front end. So I just wanted to say that. I see that so much. Learn how to have a relationship with someone for yourself, not based off of what someone else said. People miss opportunities. They miss all kind of stuff because somebody else had a bad situation, right? But now they want to pull everybody else down with them. Learn how to think for yourself. Learn how to make decisions for yourself and have relationships for yourself, not for other people.
Yeah, and be in a position where you can respect that friend that might have a friendship with someone that you might not favor. All right, now what else? Dog. Oh, it's 7:36. What the world?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Phil did say that he just moved to Georgia a few months ago. So
Oh,
All
okay.
right, Phil.
Welcome to Georgia.
Welcome to Georgia. Welcome to the ATL.
To the ATL. So, wow, that's a lot that we just talked about in such a short amount of time. I did want to say this though, to married people, there's this misunderstanding or some maybe misteachings out there that you have to sort of cut friendships after you get married. The priority in your marriage is your husband, is your wife, it is your spouse, and your spouse should be your best friend. But let me tell you something. I can't talk to him about everything that I might want to talk about. I have to be in a position to talk to my girlfriends. And he honestly is not trying to hear everything that I want to talk about at all. I'm not trying to sit up there and have analytical discussions about the NBA draft and who went where. I'm not interested. Just tell me who went in the first round, and if it's one of the guys that I like. He'll sit up and have a 3-hour conversation with somebody, and I could care less. So he needs his friends. I need my friends, like for real. And that's okay. It's necessary.
But balance that. They still should be friends that both agree.
Right. You have to have camaraderie in your marriage with your friendships. But check this. Your friends, if say that you have some female friends that you're still cool with. I still have female friends that are single, divorced, or whatever. They are not, they know, they don't bypass me to get to my husband. That's a no-no. They still have to honor and respect this here covenant, and I have the responsibility of protecting and maintaining the boundaries of this covenant. So if one of my friends
again, because if I ever hear you,
listen,
okay.
So if one of my friends felt like, and they do it often, can I talk to Joel? I want to talk to Joel about whatever, and they've done it, and that's cool. But you don't bypass me. That's just a no. It just gives too much room for shenanigans, manipulation, or what have you. But at the same time, none of your friendships and what's going on in those friendships should ever trump your marriage. So you don't go on a girls' weekend out and it's your husband's birthday. You don't do that. I mean, unless he's going on a weekend out or whatever, but your marriage relationship is still the priority, even amongst your friendships. You want to add anything?
No, I think I can speak. I have a best friend, and I think the thing that I enjoy the most about our relationship, and this is a guy thing, we can go months without talking to each other, seeing each other, 6 months, 5 months, and the moment we talk,
They don't stop.
it's like the 6 months never went by, and it's not an issue. See, like one of the things I can't stand is somebody asked me the question that did I do
Doing
something?
something to
Did I
offend
do
you.
it? Yeah, you
Oh,
just
we didn't
did.
even talk about that
You
one.
just did by asking me that question.
Yeah.
That's what you just did.
Yeah.
So it's I guess it's low maintenance, right? We both know who we are in the friendship, and it's secure. It's low maintenance. That's for me as a guy. That's the I don't doesn't take a lot for us to keep the great friendship that we have.
And that's how I am with my closest friends. With my friend circle, my circle of 7. You know, we can go months without talking to each other, and bam, and there it is. Quick catch up, and then I have 1 or 2 friends where I'm like, okay, I feel like I need some Monday time, and we'll get our Monday time in. Sometimes she's my therapy, but but you and I are people we just don't like neediness. And nothing's wrong with
and that's what makes us work too. I
Right.
love my time with her, but I
we
love
our
my time
away.
without her.
Hello.
The same.
And I ain't offended.
So,
But listen, we thank you for joining us on this evening. We're going to connect again on next Wednesday. We'll probably continue their friendship conversation because Lord knows. Well, Na's back there nodding.
We got some questions.
We got some
go ahead,
questions.
give me a couple more real
we
quick.
passed our time. We passed our
2
time.
more questions.
No, we passed
Hey,
our
close.
time.
One more question.
We're past our time.
Is it a juicy one?
No.
Is it one good one?
No, we're past our time.
Okay.
So, listen.
It went by too
Join us.
fast.
I know it did. Join us next Wednesday. Last Wednesday, I forgot to say happy birthday to Nas. It was her birthday last Wednesday, and I meant to say it on the air. So we love our little moderator. She's like our daughter, even though she's good and grown.
And listen, we have some of the greatest people in the world that work here.
Yes, we do.
Not just talent-wise. I'm talking about people. Just great people to work with. Xavier, you all can't see him over there. Technology sitting behind. Heart for God, heart for the ministry. We appreciate our staff, our team.
And then I have this Lash pillow from the ladies of the Lash Committee. They gave this to me. Speaking of Lash, if you have not registered for the Unmasked Women's Conference,
we can keep going to get your little plug in about your little mask.
Make your payments,
we don't have
register,
to answer a question from a
get
soul
it done. Otherwise, join us on Sunday at 8:30 a.m., 8:20 for prayer.
But a soul.
Hush.
A soul.
Love y'all.
A soul.
Be blessed and always keep it real.